everyone, and welcome back to Garden Talk with Teresa. We have an interesting show for you. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take you behind the scenes at some of our local locations and some tourist spots. We're all familiar with what happens around the holiday seasons with all the decorations, and we get to enjoy all the work that the city puts together for us. And also when you go out and do your tourist thing and you're visiting Newport or other locations and you see all the beautiful decorations and ornaments and how wonderful they are, but do you actually know what it takes to put that all together, or even how to break all that down? So what we're going to do is we're going to take you behind the scenes to show you what happens, all the effort and work and time that goes into putting everything away after the fact. So first we're going to take you to the breakers in Newport. Okay, here we have, this is actually a display in the kitchen of the breakers. The children from different schools and different organizations sponsored a tree and they decorated it themselves. And they actually had a contest. So it was really, really nice for the kids to be involved with something this great. And anyone that visited the mansions during the holidays got to see this display. So what happens next, you'll see where we put it away after the fact. And what is interesting to me, and I hope is to you as well, is how everything is organized. They have a system for everything. What you can see here are the trees as the decorations were taken off. We use a bunch of volunteers. There's at least 50 volunteers throughout the whole season that put all of these decorations together. There are 3 mansions, which would be the Breakers, the Elms, and Marble House. So what you see here are the trees from that very kitchen that are set aside. And on the background, it's actually a clothing rack. It's a coat rack that we use to hang some of the garland, because there's just so much garland that gets repurposed, revitalized, and used in different areas each year. They have layouts for every room, every color theme, everything is marked. Again, it takes 6 weeks from start to finish to get everything set up for the guests to come and see these beautiful locations. And next we'll show you where another corner of, this is actually the attic of the Breakers. I forgot to mention that. And this is a part of the area that we organized. And I've been doing this for a couple of years, actually more than a couple of years. I've been helping out with the decorating and the breaking down of the decorations. Again, they do rely heavily on volunteers, and being a garden volunteer, I also get to volunteer for the Christmas decorating as well. And what we did was, with all of the trees that are in the different rooms in the different locations, they are stacked with the ornaments that go along with those trees. Because what they like to do, as you would know if you've gone to see the mansions, is they like to color coordinate. So in the pink bedroom, they like to have a pink themed tree. So you have all of the tubs labeled and marked and ready to go for next year. So it's quite a process to do this. And then next slide, you'll see we actually bring the decorations up and down in the one and only elevator. So yes, this is the elevator that you would be using if you needed to use the elevator and couldn't take the stairs when you were taking the tours. They do have stairs that you can utilize, but obviously it's easier to put these on dollies and carts and bring these up with the elevator, because you're going up and down quite a few times. So here's just when we brought the stuff up, and it's just getting ready to be put in its place. And again, everything is marked as far as ornaments, lights, you name it. You know where everything is, and it's very, very organized up there. In fact, it's just a really, really nice behind the scenes type of thing to see. And on the next slide, as you can see, it's not just the ornaments that I was interested in. I was looking at the architecture. You know, look at the beams and the way these buildings were created back then. When you're touring these mansions and you look up and you see these beautiful, beautiful skylights, what you may not realize is that isn't actually the ceiling. You actually have another layer, so you've got the attic on top of that. And then you've got another skylight, so that's where the light comes in. So if you take, say, there's a servant's tour, I think they call it the behind the scenes tour now. They've renamed it a few times. But when you take that tour, you'll see how they have these skylights down the hallways. So the staff or the servants would actually have some extra light, extra daylight, and they would utilize that to save on lighting. And what you don't realize is still, again, another whole floor attic above where they were, and you had this type of a setup. You had the large skylight with a smaller skylight to utilize all the light. So they were very advanced in a lot of different ways. And then next, you'll see another area where this is a two-story section on the attic, where if you look down, you have another skylight down below, and then you can see how open the roof is, the ceiling. So it's all glass to bring in all that light into the mansion. So it was very, very well thought out. I mean, these architectures were really, really advanced for their time. And again, you can see some more ornaments. And with the next slide, now we're going to take you to the Breakers greenhouse. Actually, it's the Preservation Society's greenhouses, but this used to be the former coach house for the Breakers. That's why I refer to it as the Breakers greenhouse, because that's what I think of it as. But the Preservation Society groundskeepers use this location for storage and maintenance. And as you can see, they have several greenhouses. And what they do is they will house the tropicals here during the winter months. So the mansions that are closed, they'll move some of the tropicals here and they'll take care of them. And as you will see on the next slide, there are some more. So you've got your trees, you have your smaller shrubs, and this is what you'll see in the different mansions throughout the season, the rest of the year. And this is their home on the off seasons when the mansions are closed. Yeah, they're very well taken care of, and it's a great, great place. It's an old building, just a lot of character. I love walking through there. They do use it as office space too. Great potting area for when they're redoing the plants, which they were doing when I came to visit. And if you check with the next slide, you'll see they're already getting ready for Easter. These are Easter lilies. This was taken already a while back, but what they do is they'll start with the Easter lilies as soon as they're done with the poinsettias. They get them in and they will grow them the rest of the way in the greenhouses till they're ready to install at the mansions. Again, they usually keep 3 of the mansions open during the holiday seasons, and then the others will be opening up for the rest of the year. So here you see some of the ivy underneath these racks. And again, the ivy is used on a lot of the arrangements, the floral arrangements, the cut flower arrangements. They're put at the base of a lot of the topiaries that you see around the mansions. So there's a lot of uses for what they have here. And they are very efficient and they recycle everything. And again, they regrow everything and anything that they can. And let's see, your next slide. Here you have what we use for when you start your plants and then they're ready to come outside and when you want to acclimate them to the warmer temperature. It's a cold frame, and we've actually, if you watched some of my previous shows, we've seen this also at the green animal topiaries. They use this as well. It's a nice use of storage, and what they'll do sometimes is put their extra plants there as well, because it's on the side of the property and it doesn't take up a lot of space. But again, different times of the year, you go here and you'll see different things happening. They've always got something going on. They're, again, very, very efficient, and they have to plan ahead. Like I said, you'll see poinsettias starting to grow during one season, and then you'll see the Easter lilies starting to grow on another season. They always are ready and prepared. And just another little fact is, as far as for the wintertime, when they are decorating for Christmas, there's about 1,500 poinsettias that they use to decorate. As you know, with the Breakers, they have the giant Christmas tree shape of poinsettias made out of different racks that they put together in the shape of a Christmas tree. So again, 1,500 poinsettias, not to mention all the fresh cut flowers that they have during the holidays as well. Okay, and the next slide, this lot of land is actually where the cut flowers are grown. It doesn't look like much now, but during the season it'll be filled with beautiful cut flowers. So this is where they prepare all of the cut flowers to use in all of the arrangements. So when you're walking through the mansions and you see where do they get all of these fresh flowers, well, guess what? They grow them from seed at this location and cut them, and someone does the arrangements, and then they send them all to the different mansions. Even with the poinsettias, it's not a one-time thing. You've got 1,500 poinsettias, well, guess what? Every day or so, they have to go through and take out the wilting poinsettias and replace them with new poinsettias. So there's a lot that goes into making everything look so meticulous and effortless. So kudos to the Preservation Society with their limited amount of staff. They have groundskeepers, they have their own in-house staff, and then they have a fleet of volunteers. And again, during COVID, they couldn't bring in a lot of volunteers, so the staff basically stepped up and helped with some of the Christmas decorations and that type of thing. So they do a great job, and Jim Donahue usually is the one who prepares all of the and coordinates all of the volunteers and the decorating of the mansions. So total kudos to Jim. Okay, that I believe is our last slide. And we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back with some more behind the scenes information for you.
Are you interested in adopting a dog, puppy, cat, or kitten? The Taunton Animal Shelter helps match pets with their forever families. The Taunton Animal Shelter is a volunteer-based home that has been located on West Water Street in Taunton, Mass. Since the early 90s. The Friends of the Taunton Animal Care Facility's mission is to assist in providing quality pet care and full support to adoptive pets and their families. There are many ways to meet all of the pets who are waiting for homes. You can go to tauntonshelter.petfinder.com, or you can visit the shelter at 821 West Water Street in Taunton. The shelter's visiting hours are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., Fridays 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., and Saturdays 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. If you're not interested in adopting a pet but would still like to help, the shelter is currently in need of disinfectants, bleach, paper towels, laundry detergent, trash bags, dry and canned pet food for kittens, cats, and dogs, and heartworm and flea and tick preventatives. Donations can be dropped off at the Taunton Animal Shelter. For more information on adopting a pet or donating supplies, visit the shelter, go to our website, tauntonshelter.petfinder.com, or give us a call at 508-822-1463. The shelter is very proud of the adoption success that it has had and its ability to add that special animal to local families. Saving one pet will not change the world, but surely the world will change for that one pet.
Welcome back. You're probably wondering why I am wearing this odd-looking pair of backwards jeans. Well, I'm actually not. This is going to be part of our project that I'm going to get into later on in the show. It's actually an apron that we're going to make, and I'll show you how to make them out of an old pair of jeans, and that'll be later on in the show. But first, we're going to continue with the behind the scenes here at our own City of Taunton with A.J. Marshall of the Park and Rec Department of Taunton. Welcome back with Garden Talk with Teresa, and I am here with A.J. Marshall, who is the Commissioner of Park and Rec and Cemeteries and Public Grounds. Absolutely. And the reason we are here is we were going to go behind the scenes and give you a little bit more information than what you see out in the public when they set up the Christmas or holiday display on the green. Everyone gets to see that when you're driving around and how it goes up piece by piece. But what you may not know is all the work that does go into putting this together, and even after the fact, everything that goes into breaking this down, storing, and getting ready for the next year. There's a lot to it. I'm very impressed, and we're going to go into a little bit more with AJ, and he's going to explain to you all some of the processes that they go through. AJ, as far as all this work and the prep, as far as maybe coming up with the theme, maybe to start with?
Sure. Well, first of all, welcome to Park Cemeteries and Public Grounds, one of our many storage facilities that we have. And you know, we are the Christmas city, so the Christmas display is very, very, very important to us here at Park Cemeteries and Public Grounds, and we take a lot of pride in carrying that 108-year tradition forward. But a lot of folks don't realize that it does take a lot of time and effort to get to that night when we actually finally flip the switch. And there's hundreds and hundreds, and probably thousands of man hours that goes into that before. And Teresa, we start this process probably in May. We start in May. We start meeting regularly every 2 weeks with members of the community and the city's administrative team, Park Cemeteries and Public Grounds, the Downtown Foundation, the Mayor's Office, and we start thinking about themes and locations. Some of our major sponsors, B&D Construction, is also at those meetings because they help us with expertise in building the displays. So we start in May, and we meet regularly until we come up with a theme. And then once we come up with a theme, then we figure out what the display is going to look like to fit that theme. So that would be, you know, and hopefully we kind of set a target that we have that ready to go for July. Okay. You know, sometimes it's the middle of July, depending on what, you know, obviously the last couple of years with COVID, it's really slowed things down a lot, but you know, going forward, that's kind of our time frame. Have the theme by July, send it out for design for August, and then we actually start building, you know, late August, early September with the light strings. We start with the lights and light patterns and that sort of stuff.
So when we're in the middle of summer and we're at the beach, you're thinking about Christmas already and the holidays.
Yeah, staff here at Park and Rec, by the time the lights on display comes, we've had enough of Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, we've been at it for a long time, but they really do a great job. They really, really get excited about it, and they really enjoy seeing the kids' faces when we flip the switch. All that hard work in July, like when it's 100 outside, we're doing Christmas lights and painting snowmen and those types of things to get ready. Yeah, it really is fulfilling.
Yeah, and there's some repair work to do as well.
Yeah, like so I'll take it kind of like through the cycle a little bit if that helps. So we develop it in the summer. We start building in the early fall with our light strands. The last couple of years we've had the luck of using some volunteer help from the Taunton High School Junior ROTC program.
Nice.
They help us with the light strings. Just so folks understand the magnitude of that, we're talking about anywhere from 35,000 to 40,000 light bulbs that need to be manually installed, screwed into the light sockets and taken out.
Right.
So we start that in, like I said, it's right in September. They help us with those types of things. There's so many lights sockets on the green that if we put all the light strands from end to end, we could leave the green, have them all the way go around Taunton High School, loop back around Taunton High School, and make it all the way back to the green and still have lights.
That's
so that just gives you a
amazing.
sense of how many lights. It's actually almost like 1.8 miles of light strings that are on the green.
That's
for Christmas.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's a lot of undertaking, and we do that. And so we build the light strings, and then we move on into you know, building the display, whether it be like this year's the Unwrap the Magic, the present stack that we did. We start building that. B&D starts that at their shop. We pick it up. We bring it back here. We paint it. Then we have to load it up, do some construction on the green. We had to use cranes this year to install that. The present stack was almost 35 feet tall. That's the tallest Christmas display the city's had in 108 years.
It was beautiful, gorgeous.
So there's a lot to it depending on the themes. And then it's the decorations. It's installing the trees, installing the lights. We need heavy equipment to do the lights. We get into, you know, we use a 60-foot bucket truck because the lights are up in the canopies of the trees.
Right, you got to worry about destroying the grounds,
right.
Or going easy with the grass.
Right, we have to stay on the sidewalks, or we have to put down, you know, ramps, plywood or planks to keep them from destroying the grass and that sort of stuff. Because when we're doing this, it's October, you know. So we really start every day, day to day, Christmas, October 1st. We still mow and maintain our public grounds and stuff like that, but half the workforce goes to Christmas. November 1st, it's all Christmas for everybody, including the office staff and volunteers.
Wow. Yeah, that was actually going to ask you about the volunteers too. So as far as the themes, going back on that a little bit, we had touched a little bit on how you come up with the themes and that type of thing, but again, it has to be something that's a little bit generic because
Yeah,
we can't really use
the
some
themes- the
popular
themes-
or
the
events
themes-
that are going on at the
right.
time.
I think the theme is a little bit difficult in the fact that we're constrained by the actual Taunton Green.
Right,
We have a giant fountain in the middle of it that's
Right.
30 feet wide. So whatever we have to build has to fit the theme, and the
Right.
theme has to build the theme has to fit what we build, and, you know, whatever we build has to be built to withstand the snow load.
Right.
Because we are in New England, and we do get snow, and we can't have it
Right.
come crashing down. So that is a challenge. Another challenge is that, like a lot of the popular contemporary themes are copyrighted.
right.
And
Okay,
there's
so yeah.
significant amount of money to buy the copyrights for a contemporary theme. So we tend to go more generic and then build holiday displays around that sort of stuff.
Right, so you can come up with all types of ideas, and then you kind of whittle down, because what's possible, what can we actually do, what can we legally do, so you have to kind of dwindle down to what you can, what's
Yeah,
realistic.
I would say at our first meeting, everybody brings 3 ideas, so there's
Oh, nice,
probably
nice.
15 to 20 ideas.
good, good.
And then we start to lay them out on the table, just like at most committees, and what works, what we've done, what we haven't done, what we can do, what we have resources for, and then it slowly, you know, shakes out, and we end up with the theme.
That's great. And just talking about the themes again, there's actually a photo album that was put together for the anniversary,
The 100th anniversary.
100th anniversary, and it is still available at the Park and Rec if you're interested, and it's great because it gives all photos since the beginning, since
1915, I think.
1915.
Dr. Hanner and former Mayor Crowley put that book together
Yeah,
in celebration of
it's-
the 100th anniversary. It's a great pictorial of, if you want the history of the Taunton Green, it's a great little resource. We have them here at Park and Rec. We also sell them during lights on and that sort of stuff. So if you
Okay.
want one, reach out to Park and Rec and we can make sure
It's,
you
it's
can
great,
get it.
because looking back at some of these photos, I remember what green used to look like, and some of the different accessories, different things that were around the green back then that aren't there anymore. So
And we
it's
use
kind of like
that.
going back memory.
We use that as themes because what's old again is
Right,
new again. So
right.
we try not to, one, replicate,
Mm-hmm.
and two, there's some stuff that I look back in the 50s and 60s and say, wow, how did they do that? I'm building it now with all this modern technology
Right, right.
and equipment. They didn't have that in
Yeah.
1940 or 1950. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of the guy that's in charge of trying to build it. It's pretty impressive what they were able to do.
Yeah, it's a very impressive book. It's very well done. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about what you do with the gardens. Again, you're balancing the Christmas stuff, you're balancing your outside responsibilities, and maybe people don't realize exactly what goes into balancing with the gardens, with the beds, for example.
Yeah, I think, you know, we're the city's landscape is, for lack of
Yeah.
a better term, and
Yeah.
we have hundreds and hundreds of acres that we maintain in cemeteries, parks, public grounds, that sort of stuff. But one of the things that folks realize is the beautiful flowers that the city has had a long history of doing under former commissioner and now retired Marilyn Green. The tulips, we love the tulips, but so we plant about 7,000 to 8,000 tulip bulbs the second week in November. And they stay dormant until they sprout in the spring. And we get a good 3-4 weeks out of them. And then after that, we remove all those 7,000 to 8,000 bulbs and we plant approximately 3,000 annual plants. We use a variety called Vinca. And we put those in. And those stay in all our beds until, probably middle of September.
Okay.
When we remove them for the fall, and then we plant mums.
Okay,
Okay, and the mums stay until after Halloween, and then the first week of November, we then remove all the mums, prep the beds, and we put another 8,000 tulip bulbs in for the following year. So it's a cycle that we have to
Right.
do. And we do donate, after we do remove the bulbs, because a lot of the beds are shallow, they can't stay, we donate the bulbs to the Taunton Garden Clubs and to other nonprofits for them to be reused throughout the city.
That's
So
great.
we try to do that sort of stuff
yeah,
as well.
there's no waste, that's great. Yeah, that's a great point, because you don't have the space like a normal garden, so it's very labor intensive. You're basically duplicating the efforts every single year because you have to.
Right.
You have to do it.
The
because you don't have
same
enough room.
beds for each season of growing needs a different type of flower, but we have
Right.
to use the same bed, and we can't leave anything in.
Right.
you know, the annuals die, we need to remove them, the mums die, we
Right.
remove them.
Not like somebody's home garden,
Right,
you have to
where
use.
you can put the tulips behind them and then the
Right.
annuals, and
Right.
then they don't, so.
Right.
It's
a lot that goes into
a lot of work, but, you know.
Is it the same theme every year for those beds, or those beds actually switch around too?
The colors will switch around
Okay.
a little bit. We try to keep it fresh with different types of tulips.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone now to more like what they call a bedspread blend.
Mm-hmm.
So when you, instead of like all red or white, we've gone to a multicolored blended
Okay.
bed to give you
Nice
that
variety.
nice look. Yeah, all our bulbs come from Holland.
course.
They're shipped in. We have a very good supplier, but you know, it's important that kind of like it's the awakening. It brings life back to the city and
Very
that sort of
great
stuff. And we do get a lot of compliments about them. We tulip Robert Tree Payne, the Vietnam Memorial Fountain, Taunton Green,
Right.
and Mayflower Cemetery.
Nice.
That's the 7,000 to 8,000 bulbs go there. And you know, all of this work, and I would be remiss would be if I did mention that, you know, Christmas, running the pool, playgrounds, maintenance, mowing, trimming, is all done by a very, very talented staff that I have. We have 10 gardener laborers in the entire department for the
To do
entire
this
city.
whole thing.
The whole thing. And they're very, very dedicated, and they're very, very talented at what they do. And they really take pride in what, like I said earlier, they really take pride in what the city looks like at Memorial Day, what it looks like at Christmas.
Right.
Because they can see their work. And
Right.
they very much feel that their work gets appreciated, and it deals with the quality of life of Taunton. Because, you know,
Exactly. It's pride.
they're driving down, and it's a nice place to come visit.
Right, right, it's all about pride, yeah. Like I said, they have diverse backgrounds too, because during the downtime, they could be helping with restoring some of the items, instead of you having to take them out like you would have
Right.
2 years ago. You have people on staff that can multi-purpose, have other qualities and trades
Yeah,
that
and
they
then
can
that's,
actually pull from.
they're gardener laborers, but they all have unique and different skill sets. And like you just mentioned, someone has, a couple of people have painting and fiberglass experience. So they're
Nice.
fixing up all our fiberglass figurines. So that way, we're not sending them out, it's a
Right.
cost savings, and there's always that built-in pride as they see their finished product, and they see
Right.
kids smiling at the end of it, looking at the figurine. So, yeah, everyone here does double duty.
Right, that's huge,
And they
that's
do it
huge.
without any questions here. They know they're gardener laborers, but one day they're mowing, the next day they're fiberglass, the next day they're welding
That's-
something, they're painters, they're electricians. So it's very, very intense.
Excellent, excellent, great. And we're gonna show you a little bit of what they have here, and this is just a snapshot of one of their locations where they store some of the holiday decorations. We're gonna take a look at some of the bulbs, which I am blown away about. And I would love for you to show everyone what we have here.
So, I'll show you this, I guess, Teresa, first. This is a typical light string that's got 150 bulbs on it. We make these by hand every year. So this was, last year's, one of the trees was all blue. So we bring it up, we coil it up, and then what we'll do is in the spring in the fall, we'll take out all the bulbs by hand, and then we'll make the new color schemes,
Right.
depending on what they are for each tree. So
you
we
have
have
to wait
those,
till-
we have to wait till we develop the schemes. And then over here is all our bulbs. Let me see, for example, you know, here's our barrel of green. We have over 100,000 light bulbs
Yeah.
here, from every color, 4 different types of whites, twinkle, not twinkle. The only thing I will say is that if one goes out, they all don't go out. So we've got that, we've got away from that stuff, so.
Right, right.
So this is our bulbs, this is how we make our generic wire strands by 500-foot rolls of wire. I am also happy to say that, believe it or not, going to LED has saved significant amount of money for the city.
That's great.
With the electricity. So that's helped. So, and then over here, this wall here is just basically all our Christmas lights, our Santa shack displays, ornaments, those types of things. And if you pan around up top, you'll see stuff that you've seen recently, you'll see stuff that you haven't seen in 10 or 12 years.
Right.
We try to keep as much as we can, and use, here, these are the snowflakes and the streetscape that go across Main Street. They come apart, we populate them with different bulbs every year, twinkle, non-twinkle. So the TMOP does a favor for us and hangs these across Main Street.
Excellent, excellent.
Over here, we have the Christmas City banner that comes in several pieces
Right.
that we put together on our lift. And some of this stuff is happy holidays, season greetings that you've seen from different years, all lit garland and stuff like that. Like I said, this is just a fraction of the stuff that we have. And some of the stuff, Commissioner Green believed in quality. So yes, it's expensive to buy, but some of the stuff you've seen on the green is anywhere from 20 to present, years old. So, the giant Santa, we're trying to figure that out, but he's at least 25 years old.
Right.
We take care of him, we maintain him, but, it's expensive to buy, but it's quality. And, we are the Christmas city, so we don't skimp on those
Yeah,
types
it's
of things.
back to pride.
That's all, it's back to pride, and it's what makes, people want to come back to the city every year, we realize that. So.
And we had mentioned something earlier about electricity, how what goes into actually installing this. It's not just a matter of putting the strings together and putting them up and plugging them in. And there's a lot of work that
No,
goes
and
into.
that's a great point. This isn't your normal
Right.
household,
Right.
plug it into a socket.
Right.
There's no sockets on the Taunton Green.
Right.
Everything has to be hardwired in. And I'll go back to this light span. Right here is where we cut the wires, and these all have to be chained together, to light up the tree. For example, one tree could have 16 of these sets. We connect these all, the city electrician we connect these, and then the city electricians have to come, connect them, run the wires down the trunks
Right.
underground,
Right.
and hardwire it in for that. So there's
Right,
no
so
plugs
no
on the
plug-in.
greens. No
It's
plug-in.
all hardwired.
It's all hardwired, it's all
That's
protected in
amazing.
case someone was to, accidentally unscrew a bulb, or, for safety of all the visitors that come throughout the Christmas season for the lights.
Okay. I know it might be a little premature, but any hints, so you really wouldn't have any inside scoop on what the theme would be for next year yet then, right?
We haven't, we're just
idea.
we're just still we're in the final stages of putting away.
Right.
So everybody thinks about, wow, it goes up, well, it's all gonna come back. So, and the conditions in which it comes back is much harder because it stays lit until the first Monday in January, and then we have to then disassemble.
Right.
So that means 30,000 light bulbs need to come back when it's 10 degrees outside.
Right.
Or there's snow, the trees are frozen into the ground. So what we do is we spend all of January getting, as weather permits, around snowstorms, because we plow and do snow removal, as the weather permits, to bring it all back here, sort it out, clean it, see what's damaged, what needs some repairs, and then put it away like we just, saw it now. So we're just now finishing up Christmas. If you had come 2 weeks ago, it didn't look disorganized, but now we're getting to the point where now we're getting ready to start the transition. We're finishing up our Christmas stuff and get ready for spring plantings and outdoor landscaping. So we have not thought of a theme. We give it all a little bit of a break.
Right.
Pretty much in May we'll set up our first meeting and we'll start already thinking about a theme and that sort of stuff. No sneak peek, because honestly, there's not one to give. I haven't even thought about it yet.
Yeah. Well, now that we know that
But
it takes time, but
We'll take suggestions. So if you have a suggestion, you can call the office here and let us know what you'd like to see.
that would be awesome.
We can
Yeah.
add it to the pile.
Exactly, yeah, every input is necessary, yeah, great. And one last thing about the big guy.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in him. Since I was a kid, as long as I can remember, we looked forward to seeing Santa Claus. Where is he going to be located? Where is he? That's, to me, the most prominent piece that stood out, and that's what you looked for when you went down to the green. Tell us how you actually put him together and what goes into actually bringing him from here to downtown to get him in place.
For years, the very large lifelike Santa Claus that's been on the Taunton Green or downtown somewhere has been a focal point. I was born here, I was raised here. When you went to the Green, you saw Santa. Everybody's got pictures of their Santas, us all bundled up as children. So he's a very important figure. He's actually anywhere from 18 to 22 feet tall. So he can't go to the Green assembled because he would hit wires and that sort of stuff. So he summers here at Park and Rec. And then he's actually in 5 sections with 2 arms. And we take great pride in trying to make it so that he's magical. So he just appears. He doesn't. There's never a day where you'll see him on the Taunton Green half built or in half construction. To the point where we are on Harris Street, we're surrounded by an elementary school and a middle school and a high school. We don't have him. We have him loaded up on trails. We don't even let him leave here the day we install him until after the kids are in school. So we wait till after 9 o'clock when the kids are in school, so we drive them by so that way they don't see Santa going by in 5 or 6 pieces.
Nice.
And we have it timed out now that we can have him built by the time they get out of school. So that if they came by the green on their way to school, he wasn't there, and magically when they got out of school, he's there. We try to keep the magic for kids because Christmas is for children.
Right.
So we do try to incorporate a lot of that into our thoughts, and it's all about kids and what kids want for Christmas and that sort of stuff. And I think that's the tradition.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why adults bring their children back, because they were introduced to it when they were children. I was introduced to it when I was a child, and it's part of the fabric.
Right, excellent. Well, I totally enjoyed this tour. I got to see a little bit more that we haven't shown on film, but I'm blown away by how organized and all the detail and all the timing and all the effort and planning that goes into all this.
Well, thank you.
Just for the holiday alone, and just what you guys do behind the scenes, trying to fill in between. It's a lot of juggling. It's a lot of hard work, and takes a lot of effort of a lot of different parties. But good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
It. And it's not certainly me. It's
the
our
whole
staff.
group. It's the whole group.
It's amazing. It's an amazing group of people that work here, and I can't thank them enough for all their hard work.
Yeah, like I said, I'm blown away by how much detail you put into all this effort, all this work. Again, the setup, the breakdown, and everything in between. Like I said, it's just not a show up one day and then take it down the next day and boom, it's done. It's a lot to it. So I thank you for taking the
My
time
pleasure.
to fill everyone in on behind the scenes. This was great, and maybe we'll have to do this again.
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Welcome back, and hope you enjoyed the interview with AJ. I know I did. And we do have a few more slides that we took that weren't included in the video that I think you might enjoy. Here we actually have a 2-piece of a Christmas tree. It's a frame that they will cover with, whether it be artificial or real pine. And you see the lights on them as well. So this is one of the long-term ornaments that they've had for a long, long time, and that they keep reusing and recycling. And you can see just with me standing there how huge this item is. And then on the next slide, one of my favorites that was just so adorable, they have a variety of bears, topiary animals actually, and I love this little guy. Again, this warehouse area was just filled with Christmas ornaments. It would be a child's dream, I think, if they allowed kids up there, but might have to worry about that. But next slide. And here are some more ornaments that are in the corner. And again, they recycle and reuse a lot of the items depending on what the theme is, or what they haven't used for a while. Because again, you don't want to see the same thing year after year after year. And let's see, on our next slide, this has to be my favorite part. In fact, this is what inspired this episode. Since I was a kid, I always looked forward to seeing Santa Claus on the green. Okay, where are they going to put him? Where is he going to be? When you came around the green and you knew it was set up, you looked for Santa Claus, or at least I did. And that was what I always looked forward to, and I could not wait to see, how do you break him down? Where does he go off season? Where do you store him? How do you store him? How do you take care of him? And here he is. As you saw explained in the video, a lot of these guys will take care of these items themselves. These Park and Rec guys are so talented. They do a lot of this repair in-house, which saves the city a lot of money. And this guy's in need of a little bit of repair, but he'll be up and ready for the next season if they decide to use him again next year. Again, I was thrilled to be able to get that up close to the big guy. Okay, next slide. You'll see another part of him. I'll refer to him as the big guy in case there's any kids watching. And you have two of our Park and Rec guys, both working on different pieces of the big guy. Again, these people are very talented and they have a lot of experience in other areas, and you can see a little piece of the beard on the front of the photo there. So again, during the downtime or between other projects, they're never idle. They're always working on something. So even if you don't see them out and about in the city, you know they're working on some project somewhere, taking care of something for the city. Very proud of these guys. I was very impressed with what I saw and what I learned about this department. Very proud to have these guys as part of our city crew. Okay, on the next picture, this is another item that you've probably recently seen somewhere in the city because they do reuse this every Easter. And I got to take a sneak peek at it before the public did. So had a little bit of a heads up on what was coming. So again, very great experience going up there, seeing everything that, whether it be ornaments that you've seen recently or ornaments that you haven't seen in a while, they have everything there, very organized, everything's labeled, marked, and they really have their act together. Again, depending on whatever the theme is for the coming year, they prepare. In fact, I believe they've already started discussing what next year's theme would be if they haven't already decided. So again, kudos to these guys. And I hope you enjoyed all the slides, because now we're finally going to go to our project that I talked about earlier on. This is something that I recently learned, and I love this idea. This was one of my favorite pair of jeans, and I've had it for years. And obviously they tear and they get old, and I ended up using them as painter's pants. And even after that, I found a way to recycle them. I just hated to throw them away. I just loved these jeans. So anyway, I found out that you can repurpose them and use them as an apron, whether it be around the house or in the garden, and I just love this idea. I had some jeans that I was saving to do another type of an outdoor project in the garden, but then when I saw this, I thought, how great is this? I have my work clothes when I'm working outside, but typically I have the bad habit of just wiping my hands on my pants, on the front or on my pants or whatever. I have no patience, and I get filthy. So if you're someone you're just a hobby gardener, take an old pair of jeans, I'll show you how to do this, and you have an apron. Again, it's an old pair of jeans that you can recycle, whether it be someone else's jeans, the bigger the better. These jeans were button fly jeans, so I did have the first button that I kept on these, but you can do this as well with zip-up jeans too, and I'll show you how to do that. What we did was, we'll take a pair of jeans, and the back will actually be the front. Okay, so this is what's going to be in front of you. So you want to make sure it's going to fit you. So this will be the front of the jeans, and what you want to do is you want to keep the waistband intact. So the whole waistband you want to keep intact. What you want to do is cut along the side seams of the jeans as we did here. So you're cutting along the seam. Okay, I'm going to do that for you. Okay, so you're cutting along these side seams, and what I would do is cut so that you keep the seam. That way it won't unravel as quickly. And again, you don't want to cut into the waistband. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbutton, and again, this one has a zipper, so it's fine whether it be button down or zipper. And you want to start cutting right where the waistband is. Okay, so you can cut along there. Again, a nice strong pair of scissors, and you want to keep cutting along there, whether you want to keep the rivets or not. Again, it's up to you, but you want to keep this band because the band is what's going to go around your waist. If for some reason it's not big enough, you can also add a piece to it, and I'll show you another way that you can extend your jeans as well. So again, you're going along the waistband, and when you come to the seam on the leg, you're going to start cutting down the seam on the leg. You can do a longer apron if you'd like. I stop kind of right where the, across from like where the crotch is on the pants, because it allows you to make a seam if you wanted to make a seam. These are not seamed. They don't have to be. Again, they're already past their prime, so I'll just let them wear out on their own. But if you want to keep it longer and you want to put a little seam, it'll look nice and neat if you stop at this point. So just a few inches below the pocket should be enough to cover enough of the area that you'd like. Okay? But again, you can go down further if you want. So we've cut part of the waistband, and you're at the leg seam. Okay? So you got your back pocket here. This is your leg seam. So you're going to cut down here, again, a few inches below where the pocket is. So we'll do that real quick. And this is just a really, really quick and easy project. Again, if you don't have jeans, Salvation Army, you name it, you can get an older pair of jeans or an oversized pair of jeans, actually. Okay, and again, it doesn't have to be neat. You can go back and neaten it up afterwards. So once you've got that side done, I'm going to do the other side for you too, so you'll see. Right there. So we're going to go along the waistband, okay? And then when we come to the seam on the leg, we're going to cut down the seam on the leg, right, stopping a few inches below the pocket. So maybe around here. So here's your seam. We're going to cut along here and along the waistband, okay? Now, all of the instructions to do this will also be on my Facebook page, which is Garden Talk with Teresa. So you'll be able to follow along there too. Again, it's just not a little viewer friendly right here, but again, a nice strong pair of scissors, sharp pair of scissors is best. And then I'm just going to go right down the seam, again, right down the leg. And again, you can keep the rivets if you want. You can keep as much of it as you want. If you want to put a hem on the sides as well, again, to keep it longer, you can just cut a little bit over, and then that way you can fold over and hem that way. Again, it's up to you. Okay, let's get around the rivet here. Okay, and again, but again, I like to leave the seam. Okay, so now you have your waistband is intact, it's open. This is what's going to go around and hold the jeans in place, okay? And now you want to cut the length. So what we're going to do is we're going to go a few inches below where the pocket is and go straight across, okay? And again, if you plan on doing a hem, go down a little further. If not, just go straight across from where you want to be. And again, it's not accurate. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then let me cut on this side. It might be a little easier to show this way. Okay, so you got one half done. And then we're going to cut across the other leg. Let's go down a little further here. Okay. Okay. Now, I went a little bit lower to show you. So you can go higher, you can go lower. You can leave it so that you can hem it at this length. You've got some extra, you can actually hem it, and it'll look nice and neat. And these are nice clean jeans, not like the painted ones that I had. But again, it's a cute little apron, and again, you can use, repurpose boyfriend jeans or any type of jeans you have around the house, and you already have the snaps. If they were your jeans, they should be fitting you just fine, and you should be able to hold them on, okay? There's one more step, one more optional step. Again, you can fine tune the trimming. I just kind of cut it really fast, but you can go straight across and really make it look nice. If you'd like, some aprons have a bib, and if you wanted to create a bib, take the leg of the same pair of jeans, okay? And what you want to do is figure out what the length is from your waist, how high you want the bib to be. Okay, I'm just going to make a general decision here and show you. Just cut straight across on the leg of the jean. So you basically have the bottom leg of the jean so that you have the seam here, and you're just cutting however high you want it. So okay, I figured, all right, from the waist to about here. Then you want to cut at one of the seams. You can do it two ways, but I like to just keep the seam. Okay? So what you have here is you have a bib, so you can either use a larger bib or go seam to seam and have a smaller bib. And you would just have to attach, let me show you from my pair of jeans here. So it would entail a little bit more sewing. And again, if you're just like me and you like to wipe your hands on the apron, this would be fine. But then you can attach this portion to your apron, okay? And you've got your bib. So again, you can use a smaller portion, or you can do a wider portion and hem that up. And you have a cute bib on your apron. And again, use more of your jeans because you're going to need the strap to attach it to the back. And again, just 2 long straps. You can take the other leg and cut the long strap. You can have 1 long strap that comes around and attach it with a buckle, or you can just have 2 long straps, attach them in the front of the bib, and then just tie it in the back behind your neck. So it's real basic. Again, just cut real basic, easy if you want. If you can sew and you're good with a needle and thread or sewing machine, you can hem it and make it last a little bit longer. But again, it's a cute idea, a nice way to recycle. And again, you can do it for your kids as well. Do it with their jeans, so they have a nice little apron of their own. And again, you utilize the pockets. You've got the pockets here. You've got the belt loops that you can put some tools in the belt loops as well. So it's very functional. And I love the fact that I came across this idea, and I'm going to share it with all of you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this project. We have a lot coming up. We've got a lot of projects, a lot of other shows coming up. Please stay tuned. We're going to be starting a secret garden series. So if you're interested in having the public view your private backyard and all the work that you've put into your garden area, give me a call, contact us through Facebook, Garden Talk with Teresa, and let me know. And we will try to arrange, schedule you around one of our other projects and show off your work to the public. So just notify us there, and we look forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much for watching the show.